This Saturday, it's the Capital Region Hall of Fame induction ceremony, and one of the players going into the Hall of Fame is Andre Davis, Nisky native, into the Capital Region Hall of Fame. He's an inductee, played at Virginia Tech, then the Browns, then the Texans, the Patriots, the Bills, and now he's just kind of chilling, but I'm sure looking forward to the weekend. And we welcome Andre Davis to Big Board Sports here on 104.5 The Team. Andre, Rodger Wyland, good morning.
Good morning, Rodger. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, man, it's a pleasure. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on. Enjoyed watching your NFL career, and I think we kind of overlooked you in high school, though. Somebody said, hey, Andre Davis is going to Virginia Tech. Do you guys have any video of Andre Davis? I went, huh? Who's Andre Davis? Your story going back to Nisky is a good one because you kind of flew under the radar, didn't you? First
Absolutely.
of all, go back to then. I mean, how did you end up at Virginia Tech from Nisky on the football field? Because you were a track guy.
Yeah, definitely a track guy, and definitely someone who had to go about it the hard way and, took examples and took notes from what other people were doing. And, I really started playing football just as a way to keep in shape for track. I had to find something to do during the fall time to get myself ready for indoor track season, and I thought that football would be a cool thing. And so I chose two positions on the field that I thought would be the less wouldn't require a lot of physicality, I guess, and so that's why I chose wide receiver, because I figured that guy was the furthest outside. I wouldn't have to be like the running back, and I chose free safety because the guy just sits in the back and kind of is a ball hawk, and that's literally how I chose to begin playing football.
Andre, did you? How many years did you play? Did you play 4 years at Nisky?
I played 2 years.
2 years.
I started my junior year of high school, like I said, just to stay in shape for track, and ended up playing pretty well. Once again, didn't know how to tackle, how to keep my head down or anything. I was just a fast guy who was, okay at catching the ball, didn't know how to get off of, bump and run or any of these things that I now know, but was a fast enough guy that I could outrun most people. And so, with all of that, my dad and I put together our own highlight tape based off of stuff that he had videotaped. And literally, this is us splicing together old VHS tapes together to put a highlight tape together and get that down to Virginia Tech, and that's how they found out about me.
That's amazing. And you go from Virginia Tech to the NFL, a track guy, only play a couple of years in high school, and you turn out to spend, 9 years in the NFL. What's it going to mean to you, Andre, this weekend what does it mean to be inducted into the Capital Region Football Hall of Fame?
It means a lot, to see all of the hard work that went into it, even though that wasn't the initial, plan from the get-go. I always wanted to train and try and be one of those guys that could make it to the Olympics, but it just seemed that God kept on giving me opportunities through football to be able to excel. And so to be able to continue to take those opportunities, make the most out of them, continue to work, continue to get better at my craft, it's one of those things that it was a slow momentum build-up. So, I wasn't necessarily an all-state guy or an all-American coming out of high school. Like you said, I was a little-known guy, but every opportunity I got, I made sure I made the best out of it. So to be recognized for that is something that's really special, to be able to come back to the Capital Region and see another buddy of mine, David Bird, who got in as well, and all the other guys who got in. It's just a great honor for all of us.
Well, Andre, Brady Farkas here. David Bird, we had him on Tuesday. He was very complimentary of you as well and spoke highly of your friendship. The NFL has changed a lot in the last 10 to 15 years. How do you view the game today, and how many yards and touchdowns would you go for in today's game, considering the speed guys on the outside are the ones having all the success now?
Yeah. I don't know. It continues to change. I remember how much I would, complain or talk about with our other receivers in college, how, when I was at Virginia Tech, we weren't getting a lot of balls thrown. We were definitely a running school. Our running backs were scoring tons of touchdowns, and only one receiver would be the guy who would get, maybe 30 or so balls. And then you got someone like Isaiah Ford down there at Virginia Tech now who had like 75 catches, over 1,000 yards. And I was like, man, that's twice as many catches as I had. And he just beat my record this year in yards for a season. So that's great. And then you see, once again, you see how the dynamic of receivers has changed over the last couple of years in the NFL, where you've gone from receivers like, Randy Moss, Jerry Rice, Tim Brown, these type of guys, to all of a sudden it changes to Wes Welker, Danny Amendola. These guys are getting all of the catches. But now you've got a mixture of that, of the smaller, shifty guys, but then you also got the guys like, Calvin Johnson, who was just there, Andre Johnson, the bigger, fast receivers, Brandon Marshalls. You've got those guys. And so it's just amazing to see from time to time, and from team to team, how that dynamic goes. And I really think it has a lot to do with the players that you have on the team. You've got someone like Adrian Peterson in Minnesota, where you've got to give them the rock. So they're going to be a running team, and you're going to have one or two dangerous guys on the outside. But then you've got teams like the Patriots and Packers and other guys with great quarterbacks and great skill position guys that they're just going to be passing the ball up and down. So it all depends on where you get drafted or where you get an opportunity to play and that type of scheme that they're in. And that will be, how great of a chance you'll have.
Talking with Andre Davis, Nisky Unit native, going into the Capital Region Football Hall of Fame this weekend. And Andre, we spent a lot of time talking about Odell Beckham Jr. and Josh Norman. We still are. What are wide receivers and defensive backs saying to each other on the field? Is there a lot of talk going on out there?
There usually is, and it all depends, once again, on the personality of the players. You've got some guys who love to talk, who love that back and forth action, and you've got a lot of guys who are just going out there trying to do their job. And, regardless of what the opponent is saying, on either side of the ball, you got to do what your coach tells you to do. I remember being in Cleveland, and our coach, Terry Robisky, up there was telling us he wanted us to cut the DBs. And when I say cut, it means you're diving at the player's leg, trying to take him out at his thigh, to get him on the ground, to give your running back or whoever has the ball behind you, to give them opportunities to get past that second level. And a lot of the times, those blocks that you make are the difference between a 10-yard gain and a touchdown or a 30, 40-yard gain. And so that's something that the DBs hate. They don't like you jumping at their legs. But at the same time, when they're going to tackle you, they're tackling you and bringing you down by any means necessary. And it's fine and dandy for them to do whatever they need to do to get you down, but they get mad when you do it to them. So I just think it's one of those things that, yes, you want to be respectful to the player you're going up against, but at the same time, it's a win or lose situation most of the time. That I want to make sure when I get into my meeting room on Monday morning that my coaches are talking about the great job that I'm doing. So I'll do whatever I need to do to win.
Andre, who's the best defensive back you've gone up against?
Oh, goodness. Had an opportunity to go against some great guys. Went up against Charles Woodson when I was in Cleveland, when he was in Oakland. Went up against Darrelle Revis early in his career when I was with the Texans. But I would have to say the hardest time that I had was against a guy named Al Harris, who was with the Green Bay Packers at the time. He was one of the best press corners that I've had an opportunity to go against.
Andre, you hold two NFL records, longest receiving touchdown, 99 yards, and 2 kickoff returns in the same game. But I'm going back, 99-yard touchdown catch. How are you feeling at the end of that run? Because I'm winded just asking you the question about 99 yards.
It's one of those things, it's just a dream, and it really always comes down to, is your offensive coordinator trusting you to be able to run a play like that? It's usually a play-action pass a lot of times when these things happen. And, there's a lot of pressure on the quarterback and on the offensive line to make sure they don't give up a safety. And on that particular play, I ran a double move on the defensive back from the Bengals. It was a come back and go, and the guy bit on my first route. And, when I knew I had him and saw the ball coming, all you're thinking is, all right, don't drop this. You've got a guaranteed touchdown right now. Just catch it and go. And to be able to catch it, take one peek behind me, and then just be off to the races. It was, once again, a dream come true.
Hey, Andre, you play for the Patriots. What'd you make of the Brady Deflategate saga that finally is over?
It doesn't surprise me one bit. It's just one of those things that the Patriots will go through whatever they need to do to win. And I think what makes Bill Belichick such a great coach is that he knows all of the rules. He knows the rules and he knows the history of the NFL very well. He's a great game planning coach. He knows exactly what he has to do week in and week out. And so, you know, once again, not knowing the exact details of what went on in Deflategate, but to me, it's once again, if they know they can get away with something and they're going to really walk that line, they'll walk the line every time if it's going to give them an advantage moving forward. And I think it's one of those things that if they look at it and say, you know, I mean, if they're going to make it to the Super Bowl and they're going to have an opportunity to win a Super Bowl every time, and, I mean, you've seen the fines and the draft picks that they take away from them, it's not making any difference to how they continue to perform year in and year out. So I think behind the scenes, they're looking at it like, hey, guys, as long as we're having a chance to win a Super Bowl at the end of the year and we're making playoffs, then they're going to continue to walk that line.
Hey, Andre, one more question. I'll let you go. Your story is just so unique. But here's the question. What advice do you have for Capital Region kids who are trying to make it at the highest levels? Because I don't think you would have thought when you went out for the football team at Nisky that it would turn into a scholarship at Virginia Tech and then 9 years in the NFL.
Not at all. That's really a big surprise. But at the same time, what I would tell kids now is, you know, don't ever settle. Don't let anyone tell you that you're not good enough or you're not in the position to be great. I think it takes time, and I think that's something that a lot of people can see from my career, is that just because you might not be the best in your area or, you know, maybe even the best on your team at a particular moment, if you continue to work hard and continue to persevere through those times, and if you take every opportunity and go through your trials and tribulations that you might go through, these are all things that are leading to you to have a breakout performance or a breakout season, and to be able to succeed at a later time. So I think that can hold true not just in athletics, but in life as well, is that, you know, don't ever let anyone tell you that you can't do it, and continue to progress. Never settle, never stay at one spot for too long. Take every experience that you have, learn from it, and get better.
You are one of the great stories of Capital Region sports when it comes to the football side of things, and well deserving to be in the Hall of Fame. Andre, thanks for a few minutes here on Big Board Sports, and enjoy your weekend. You deserve it.
Thank you so much, guys.
Take care. That's Andre Davis, Nisky native. He'll be inducted into the Capital Region Football Hall of Fame